I assembled these Kallax shelves today. There's 5 units, 2x2s. You can tell they're not connected yet. They're just sitting here. They're going to go in the other room. I'm going to store record albums in these, about 1,000 record albums. There's a lot of videos about this, and I'm going to show you how I made these things tough as nails, following advice from videos, just like this one. I hope this helps. Alright, I've got 8 of these now. I had 5 in that little introductory video. That was a few months ago. Now I've got them in this music room and they're full of albums. I emptied this one out so I could show it to you. The point of this is really just to show you what I did to make this thing stronger, better, more durable and stronger than it would have been out of the box, assembled as instructed. So I just beefed it up a little bit, and everything I could have thought of some of this, but I saw this on YouTube videos. I watched probably a lot of the same ones you're watching if you're trying to find a storage solution for hundreds and hundreds or thousands of albums. I went with the 2x2s because the shipping cost was remarkably cheaper. One of these 2x2 units, or 2 of them, or 3 of them in one order, the shipping was only $10. If I wanted the 5x5, the shipping was about $150, and I think the 5x5 itself only cost about $80 or $90. So this was $38. You know, let's call it $40. 3 of them, $120 plus 10 for shipping, $130 for 3 of these. That was the way to go. And I do think that just the way that they're built with, you know, less skinny members and more of the thick members, this is better than a 5x5. Not sure if that's true or not, but it worked for me. I spent quite a few months watching the videos and reading forums, and short of doing a custom cabinet job or building my own custom shelves out of heavy wood, this is the way to go. I'd say that it's the best. This is the best solution. So what I did to make them extra tough, when they go together with pegs, these little wooden dowel pegs. I glued all of that. I used Gorilla Glue. I also used Gorilla Glue brand liquid nails on any flat surfaces where there was not a peg. Probably overkill. But again, I don't want these coming apart, and they are holding albums, and the albums mean much more to me than the shelves do. So I glue and liquid nails wherever possible. I got a 4x8 sheet of birch plywood, and I also bought a 4x8 sheet of, what was it, 5/8 plywood that I used for a base on a few of these units that I put casters underneath. That wasn't necessary. I don't need to roll these around. If you do, excuse me, then the casters are a good choice. But the birch, you'll see what I did here. In the back here, I used construction adhesive, and then I've got screws in a couple spots, but for the most part I just used some short little nails. They got rim shanks on them. They shouldn't pop out. I didn't want to compromise this foam board with a bunch of holes or pre-drilling or big screws or anything like that. I just wanted the adhesive to stick and to give it a little bit more it came with out of the box. So this thing it's stout and sturdy. And you can see the color blue in there. I painted them. And you know from collecting records that you don't want your records sliding in when you're pulling them out or putting them away. You kind of want them to have a stop point in there. So I bought a whole bunch of some bulk pool noodles, and I put those in the back, and that way when you got an album, it's prevented from going all the way to the back of the cabinet. That is very helpful. What else did I do? Again, I told you the casters were probably not necessary. Stackable. I've got them 2 high, and I think you could go 3 high. Depends on the size of your room or how many you choose to put in each cube. They say that a cube will hold 50 to 60. You know, this one's pretty full right here. This one's not, but you know, 200 albums in the entire 2x2 unit might be right. Let's see. There are charts and things you can find online of how much this whole thing would weigh when they're full of albums, and how many can be stacked on top. That probably does it for how I made them tougher. These things were all covered in other videos, and that you're probably watching if you're watching this one. So that's what I did. So I put my records back in that cabinet I was using for an example. It's the one up there. And along this one wall I've got 4 units. They work great, you can tell, as a shelf here, because you're always, when you're listening to albums, you got them all spread out, and it's just, I mean, they make great shelves just on their own. So there's that wall, and then over here, you know, the turntable setup, the stereo is right between 2 of them on that side and 2 on this side. The casters I was talking about that I don't think I needed, you can see the red wheels underneath this one, and then right here in the center I put a couple blocks just to keep weight, you know, in case those things were going to sag. I really don't think they would, but that's the last thing I need when they're full of albums, is them being compromised. And you know, they're on carpet. If I was gonna go 3 high, I would probably take the casters out of there. So, you know, there's my old school record cabinet right here, and these are great. If you can find these, find them. But they're not cheap anymore. That's all Beatles albums in there. That's nice to have. They got a little extra something, protection. Extra cubes are nice. You know, right here next to the turntable I've got my you know, some cleaning supplies and things. I've my record album price guide and some books. I've got my inner liners, outer liners, you know, magnifying, you know, stuff that you need. It just becomes you're gonna end up with accessories, and you got all the room in the world to put it. That's the music room. I hope this helped. I'm just trying to answer a lot of the questions for you that I had, because it's just one of the things that YouTube is great for, is finding out how other people did this. We'd rather spend our money on albums than on the cubes and the storage units to put them in. Thanks. Alright, maybe the last thing. This will be the last thing. Just something I forgot. When I have an upper unit, I did not attach the upper unit to the lower unit, thinking that, you know, it would fall down on someone or something like that. I don't have kids running around the house or visiting the house, and I don't have any pets that would do something like that. So it's not necessary. That thing, you would really have to yank on that thing to get that thing to fall off. I'm not worried about it. But if I was to go 3 high, I would probably put something back there to, you know, attach these units all together. As far as the weight of the albums, this cube right here, there's 42 albums. It's almost full. You might be able to fit. You never know what people stuff in there when they're putting your albums away. If there were 75 albums in each cube, 300 in the whole thing, plus the weight of the cube, which is about 30-40 pounds, would weigh 198 pounds. And I'm pretty sure about that figure because I was very concerned about getting the right weight. So let's just say if you fill one up all the way with albums, this one's not filled up all the way, you're talking 200 pounds. You put one on top of another, you got 400 pounds. 3 full, you got 600 pounds. You just need to know that if you're living in an apartment or an old house, or you've got them in the garage, or you're up in a loft or something like that. Just call it 200 pounds per cabinet. That's it. I hope this helped.